Okay, welcome everyone. Today is our first Zoom chat. It's our very first week of our brand new challenge. So this challenge goes from February 1st to March 1st. And so I decided to do a really short one because I know for me, sometimes I don't have 6 weeks. I don't have 8 weeks to do a full challenge. But I did want you guys to know that you are my top leaders that I invited to this call. And so from here, we're going to educate you how to be the best leader you can be, and then you'll pick up on some of these same skills I'm going to be teaching you, and you can work with me on the next challenge with your team. So what I'm doing actually is just starting at the top of my organization and training from the top down and working with whoever wants to be involved. And so know that we need to be getting as much as we possibly can out of this first challenge so that you can pass the baton. But you're not just passing it on your own. I will still do these Zoom chats with you guys, but you'll be the expert now, and then you can help me to mentor your team members. That's kind of what we're trying to do. So, so you know the intent of this group, my intention. But as most of you know, I've shared with you the strategies that I learned, and it's actually just the tip of the iceberg. I just taught you the best ones that I thought came out of the 2-day strategy session that I went to with Elise Shedevy, who is the #1 doTERRA sales rep for doTERRA. So she's amazing. And just so you know, Boyd Truman, our upline leader, he's right on her heels always. They're always kind of vying, wouldn't you say, Karine? They're always vying for kind of first and second spot in doTERRA, it's a healthy, awesome competition. They love each other. So, but I did go to this training and I learned some awesome, amazing things. And I'm just taking out what I think we can use now, but do know that there are other tricks in my bag for later if we need to use them. But I think these are the most important, they'll be the most received and easy to implement ideas out there. And so we're going to start with those today. So welcome. You guys are the cream of the crop. And from here, we'll start working with your team members to get them onto these calls and getting them trained and educated to see if they want to build a business. So let me go ahead and share my screen here with you. And we'll start. I have a quick little PowerPoint to go through. And again, welcome. Just thank you for being here because I know we're all busy and we have busy schedules and busy lives. And so I'll make this as short and sweet as I can. All right, so here we go. Okay. So our training is called 4 Weeks to a New You. Now, I had a hard time naming this challenge, just so you know, because I thought, well, it's going to be in February. It's Love Month. We should do For the Love of All Good Things in doTERRA. Or I don't know. I was just thinking something that, kind of tricky and clever. But then when I actually decided to do the challenge is back at the very beginning of January when I was just fresh out of this, this new strategy session with Elise. And I was still in it's a new year mode, and I'm still in that it's a new year mode. And I'm really excited for 2017 and to see what it's going to bring. So I went ahead and just named it 4 Weeks to a New You. And then I called it a business building challenge. And just so you know, this is a challenge within yourself. You are not competing with other members of this challenge for prizes. You are only competing with yourself. And so you can do this part-time, you can do this full-time, you can do this however you want. Some of you will just take the training and maybe implement it in a new way. And if you do, I would love for you to share that way with me, because I'm constantly looking for new ways to redo and revise and get better at what I do, which is being a leader for doTERRA, and which is what you all are leaders for doTERRA. So welcome. I called it 4 Weeks to a New You. Because you can mute yourself if you'd like to, because we are recording it. Okay. So I just wanted to welcome you, and I wanted to ask you these questions. Are you ready to change the world? Are you ready to change your community? Now, your community isn't just your community that you have around you. It's your community, your circle of influence, which could be very small. It could be medium-sized. It could be very large. And if you're going to do doTERRA as a business, do know that your circle will widen and it will get larger over time. So go ahead and push your mute button in the bottom left-hand corner if you can hear me. There we go. Perfect. But we are going to change the world one drop at a time. So we're not just changing our communities. We need to stop thinking about this small reach that we have, but we need to start thinking of a much larger reach to the world. Honestly, I'm surprised in just the 4 years that I've been building, how many places I've been and how many people I've met from other states, other countries because of doTERRA. I would not have had those opportunities for those friendships had it not been for doTERRA. So doTERRA has changed my life in many, many ways, and I'm looking forward to watching it change yours also. Are you ready to change your business and your life? So not only your personal life, but your business life. Are you ready to change both of those? Are you ready to think outside of the box? You know, I really was kind of stuck in my own head and how I thought doTERRA should look until I went to this training. And it's amazing how my eyes have been opened to new ideas and new possibilities. So I'm hoping that you're ready to start thinking outside the box. And like I said earlier, you'll be getting new ideas from our ideas, and please share those and tell us the different ways that you're implementing them, your new and creative ways that you're implementing them. That's the next one. Are you ready for new and creative ideas? They might come from me, they might come from you, they might come from someone else on one of these calls that's going to be sharing with us. And so, are you ready for a kickstart? Since it is the beginning of the year still, are you ready to kickstart your business? Are you ready for some fuel, some cash for yourself and for your business, right? And I would ask that you actually invest whatever prizes you get from this challenge. I would ask that you invest half into yourself and half into the business. We want you to reward yourself as you go, but also we want you to keep sharing the oils and keep working on your business, and this money that will come from this, these rewards will help to fuel your business. So I said at the very bottom, give us 4 weeks to help you. So 4 weeks is a short amount of time. We can do anything in 4 weeks. That's why I decided to keep it short and sweet for this challenge. A couple of housekeeping items. If you haven't muted yourself already, bottom left-hand corner, but go ahead and get a piece of paper out and write any good ideas that you have. Maybe I'll say something, but it's not on here and you take it a different way. That's, again, what I want to hear. I want to hear you guys say, oh, you said this, but this is how I interpreted it, and this is how I'm going to do it. So write your ideas down as we go and write down any questions you might have. Save your questions until the end because we might answer them as we go, but I'm going to end the recording and then we'll have a question and answer session. I'm not sure that everyone, it would make the call go really long, and those that are going to be listening to the recording, they're going to look at the time and say, oh my goodness, that was an hour and 20 minutes, and I don't have an hour and 20 minutes to listen to that total call. So keep your questions till the end, but hopefully we'll answer them as we go. Okay, so let me ask you this question. What do you want to build? What do you personally want to build? Be thinking about that. I did actually create a Facebook page for us, and I put this as the caption, as the picture on our Facebook group. Some of you have not been invited to that yet because we're not friends on Facebook, but I'm hoping to change that. So I am Amy Palmer Beck on Facebook, so if you want to add me, or else my phone number is 435-862-2768. You can send me a text message at the end, and we'll have contact information back and forth that way. But you are the architect of your own destiny, so be a good architect. We're the creators. We're the ones that are making, I mean, of course, with our awesome creator above helping us, right? We need to make sure that we always acknowledge that God is our ultimate architect, that he's our ultimate designer and creator, and that he's there to help us, and we need to utilize him as a helper. But we are the architect of our own destiny, working in conjunction with our creator. So be a good architect. What do you want to create for your life? So hopefully most of you received my challenge document last week and were able to print that out. If you haven't done that, if you'll still print all 6 pages out so you can see it in writing for me, it just helps to be able to make notes and just have that reminder in front of me this whole next 4 weeks instead of just on your computer when you remember to go check on it. So go ahead and print out those documents. And let me know if you did not receive this by email, and we'll get it over to you. Okay, another thing that I asked you to do on the challenge document was to download the build guide. It's at www.sharesuccess.com, and it has 8 pages to it, including this front cover, so really just 7 pages. But if you'll print that out, we're going to go through kind of each of the pages with you. And some of you have already done this, but it wouldn't hurt to do it again because maybe your why has changed. Maybe your goal has changed. And so be willing and open to do this Build doTERRA business overview one more time. But you find it at Share Success. I would download it, then print it. Okay, so you've all heard the story about, do you need a financial pipeline? And it's a story about a man who he made his living by hauling buckets of water from the water source to his village. Well, the water source was, I believe, about an hour away. So as many trips as he could make, so it's 1 hour there, 1 hour back. So as many trips as he could make per day is how much money he would receive for that day. Well, he started getting tired and older, such as myself, and he decided, okay, there has to be a better way. There has to be a smarter way to do this. And so he did his regular trips, but in his spare time, he would build this pipeline from the water source to his village. And the day that they turned on the spigot was a day of joy. He was able to get unlimited buckets of water for his villagers, and so it increased his financial situation. It multiplied it many times. So we do have a choice. Do we want to use doTERRA as our financial pipeline? doTERRA is an awesome company, and it's amazing to me. I've had people that have joined my doTERRA business, and they have dabbled a little bit over here or over there in other companies or other ventures, and they've never just completely focused on doTERRA as their main source of income. And so they're divided. They're spread out. They're doing a little bit over here and a little bit over here, and they're just basically spinning their wheels as far as I'm concerned. They're spinning their wheels and they're not getting anywhere very fast. And so what they would do if they would just focus on doTERRA and have that pipeline, they could pursue some of their other goals in the future. It's amazing to me, like doTERRA is my pipeline, but do I have other dreams and goals for myself? I do. There are other things that I still want to accomplish in this life. I would love to get a master's degree as one thing. Well, that takes, $50,000. So, I could do an online program for probably around 10, but it still takes money. I would love to get my master's degree in nutrition. Another thing that I would love to do is use the essential oils to build a food business. I won't go into extreme details right now. If you want those details from me later, you can ask, but there are other goals that I have for myself beyond doTERRA, but right now I'm focusing on doTERRA to be my pipeline to create my dreams for the future. I'll always do doTERRA. Please know that. I will always be your leader. I will always be here. I have other goals for myself that I had before doTERRA came into my life that I still want to accomplish. And will I be able to do that? Yes, I will, with the help of doTERRA. So
are you currently a nutritionist?
I'm a nutrition teacher by trade.
Okay. I'm currently in school right now for nutrition, so that's kind of cool. I'll have to connect with you. We're both in doTERRA.
Yeah. This is Chloe, right? Am I talking to Chloe? Okay,
yeah.
Perfect, yes. So I do have future goals for myself. I would like to get my dietetics degree, but I have...
Yeah, I'm literally taking a break right now from doing that, so.
Awesome. Yes, let's connect for sure.
All right, I'll add you on Facebook.
Okay, do. And we'll add you to our Facebook group for Justice Challenge too, Chloe.
Okay.
So, but I know you guys have other dreams for yourself too, and you might be in conflict right now with, okay, what do I do right now? What can I do? And you're you're putting your time in many different places, but I'm telling you, if you can just focus on this one thing, this doTERRA, to build your pipeline, it's something that people need, and it's something people want. It's so multifaceted. You can use it for so many things, as you guys know. We can use it for our healthcare. We can use it for our health and beauty products. We can use it for cooking, for cleaning, for aromatherapy to manage moods and emotions in our households. There are so many different things that we can use doTERRA for. And you know, I know there's other companies out there, but other companies just sell cosmetics, or they just sell hair and skincare, or that's probably the same thing, cosmetics, hair. They just sell spatulas, okay? They are marketing to one specific type of person, right? That's if you cook, you're going to go to Pampered Chef. I'll just use that as an example, right? But doTERRA has literally something for everyone, from birth to death. You know, I mean, we can use these products our whole life, our whole long life. I'm trying to talk, sorry, but you can use these forever. And so there's no boundaries on who we can share with, which is what I love about this company. And just to give you a quick background, I vowed, and Karina's going to go into this a little bit further later on, but I vowed that I would never sell anything. But I found doTERRA and became so passionate about it that now I can't shut up. So but I am going to shut up for a minute because Karina's going to cover that in just 1 second. But would you like to partner with doTERRA? That's the question that we need to ask you. Will you let doTERRA be your pipeline and be your avenue for generating income to not only fulfill your health and wellness goals, because I know you all have health and wellness goals that are within doTERRA, but if you have other goals for yourself, such as traveling, such as, I don't know, learning a really cool skill, like, I don't know, deep water, I don't know, scuba diving. I don't know what your goals are, but if there's something that you've always wanted to do, but money has stood in your way, doTERRA can be the fuel that gets you there. So this is the third, let me think, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th and 5th page, there we go, of the build guide. And it goes through and it shows you how you start out down here earning about $200 a month as an elite. And then here you go to Premier and you're earning about $600 per month. And then you jump up to silver and you can see you're starting to make about $2,200 per month. And then gold, you're making about $4,000. It looks like almost $5,000 per month. Platinum jumps up to $9,000, $10,000. This is per month, right? Diamond is about $17,000 per month. Blue diamond, 30. Does that say 8? It's really small. Sorry, guys. And then you just keep going from there. So what we're going to try to do with this challenge is to get a lot of you to elite. That is our goal, is to get you at 3,000 volume. So if you want to break that down, it basically breaks down into having about 30 people per month placing a 100 PV order, right? Which we all know that they're not going to place, all of them aren't going to place that 100 PV order per month. So you're going to have more than that, but that's just a goal to shoot for. If you need 3,000 PV, let's shoot for 30 people, and we'll get more along the way as we're doing this. But one thing I did want to mention really fast is with the Fast Start bonus. The Fast Start bonuses I am going to be matching, as you got on the chart. There's a chart that I sent out to you. I believe it's page 3 or 4 of the challenge. But let me go back. Oops. The Fast Starts, I'm matching Fast Starts. So that's hopefully, and that's only if you get them to sign up for LRP the second month and they place an order during their second month. But I'm willing to match Fast Starts for their first and second month and pay $25 for every 100 PV order, and 100 to, it would have to be 100 to 200 PV order. And then I'm also willing to pay $50 for every 200 plus PV order. And I'm just going to be matching what doTERRA is giving you. So that's a huge incentive just to get going and start even sharing on a small level. And then we'll work up from there. Now, your Power 3 bonus, everyone that I talk to that's high up in doTERRA says don't structure your business to the Power 3 bonus. And maybe I'll hurry and get Karina's take on this in just 1 second. But for me, this is what was paying me back until I started earning a paycheck. This is what paid me when my first goal was just to get my oils half paid for, because I was paying 100 PV per month. I just wanted $50 back from doTERRA, and me sharing with 10 of my top friends allowed me to do that, right? And then my second goal was to get my oils fully paid for, which is 100 PV. And then I shot for that 250 Power of 3 bonus, which is huge. I mean, because if you look at it, you're only making $200, 300 maybe. Does it say 3? I think it says 3. $300 per month. Yeah, that's right. Executives make 200. Elite's about 300. I needed the extra money. I was only lacking about $200 or $300 per month when I came home from my teaching job to have Rip, my last child. I was only lacking $200 or $300 from us going in the hole every month. And so at the time I was trying to teach Zumba classes. I was spinning my wheels. I was trying to do all these things, and Karina kept inviting me. She's like, come do this business with me. I know you'd be awesome, and I know that you'd love it. So, that Power of 3 bonus is huge. Now, when you get down here to the bottom levels of the Power of 3 bonus, you're getting $1,500 per month. And that's a house payment, guys. That's a house payment. Close. Some of you might have a little higher house payment than myself, but that's awesome, right? So that $1,500 could be per month. And I structured to it. I didn't care what the other people said. Any thoughts on that, Karina, on structuring to Power of 3?
I definitely agree with you. I think it's I like to start with it. One, the structure, by following that structure, you're setting yourself up to succeed in the rank advancements too.
Right.
So it helps give you a direction, because as you start bringing people in and you're like, where do I put them? And the worst thing you can do is put everybody across your top line, in my opinion.
Right.
And so at least this way, at least get to that. That gives you some little milestones.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't recommend is don't get totally hung up on it. Like if you have 2 best friends or 2 sisters that join at the same time, and you say, oh no, but I need my third person before I can go down, and you split that up just for you, selfishly, for your Power of 3, that's where I see red flag. Keep those relationships together. But I think the Power of 3 is a great place to start, and I still encourage you. I say at least get you to your 250 and start with that foundation, because by default, you shooting for your 250, you will hit usually elite for sure, and sometimes, the premier as well. So it just helps you. It helps you in guiding that.
Yeah, it helps you to structure your organization.
Yes, it's a good starting point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I said, don't get hung up if you're like, oh wow, I've got one class and a whole bunch is going on this team right here, and you're worried about spreading that out for Power of 3. Don't worry, have faith, it'll come, but just keep that in mind. Okay, well now when I'm working on my next contact or my next team, then I've got a place that I'm going to be putting them. So it doesn't always happen perfectly, 3 and then 3 and then 3. But it's a great guideline and something to shoot for.
Right. And one thing I would add to that is I went to a class one time where it was a business building class, and they basically said, if you find 3 dynamic leaders, which is what we're going to do in this challenge, we're going to try to find you 3 dynamic leaders for your top line. By doing that, and they're going to be working with businesses, as you know, but by finding those 3 dynamic leaders, really, honestly, that should be the only thing that you need to do besides support your leaders that you found, those 3, and then support their team as they grow. But they should be able to find their 3 people. And it's kind of like the passing the baton again that we talked about at the very beginning. You find your 3, you help your leaders find their 3, you help their leaders find their 3. So you're just working that's why it's called the Power of 3. You're working in 3s to help you to reach your goal. So
I add on that too, real quick.
Oh, yes.
That I agree with that. And you're starting with your 3 and you're going with that, and it's just duplicatable. And it's nice because then when you do your 3, rather than it being all about you and about, okay, I want to hit my 1,500 now, change your tone. Let's say, hey, we want to help you get your 250 bonus. And if you have that as your heart intent, is you're truly going to try and help your leaders get their 250 bonus,
right?
Then your perk is you get your 1,500. But the intentions are there and you're working to serve others, and it's working that way. So it's a win-win that way for that. Mm-hmm. And then that is one thing that I learned big time at that last summit too, is yes, find your 3 leaders, but don't stop enrolling there. You want to, and as this does help, because as you are getting your new enrollments, then now you can look and see, okay, who needs it to help them with their Power of Three or whatever, then you can start there and do that. But it just gives you a place to put yours as you continue to enroll too.
Right. And you touched on something really important kind of in the middle there. You said you should never stop enrolling. I know that I found myself the same way. I'm working on helping my leaders to build their teams. I'm not going out and looking and finding new people for my organization, which is a mistake that I've made. So I will challenge all of my top leaders that are on this call that you always need to be enrolling. You constantly need to be sharing. You can't just pass the baton and say, okay, now it's your turn. You are still sharing from day one till the very end, right, of your doTERRA life. So
absolutely. There was a big, if I can add one more thing on that, was a big visual for that they did, is they gave each one of us, we had a Blue and Presidential Summit that's at the 1st of January, and they gave each one of us our own, how they always kind of do the corporate review and numbers. They gave us our own little evaluation. And it showed, our enrollments, where we were at. And the months that we were higher with enrollments, you would also look at your team's enrollments. And guess what? The team enrollments were up too. Your team will do what you do. And so as you learn this and as you do this, even if you're helping your team, it goes back to, I think sometimes, I know I've done it before. I've done it. I'm pulling myself out of it. You get stuck in management. You're like, okay, I've got to do this. Whereas in reality, if I just keep doing what I know and what I love, and that's what I loved with doTERRA anyway, I love to share, I love to do that. If I can continue to do that, my team will see that and do it as well too.
Yeah, well, it's just the philosophy of do as I say, not as I do, but we need to be doing as we do. So we need to walk the walk and talk the talk of what we're teaching you also. So absolutely. Yeah, do know that we are going to walk the talk along with you. We're not here just to educate you. We're going to be doing the same things you guys are. So it says at the very top up here on the right-hand side, what do you want to create? Your 2 to 5 year retirement plan. How would that be? Honestly, can you think about that? Like if you guys, I know some of you are much younger than myself, but if you could put a number on how many years it's going to be until you retire, and some of you it's 20 years, right? Some of you it's 25. Some of you it's a long time. I know that my husband is at 19 and he's counting. Trust me, he's counting, and he's tired. He doesn't want to go to 19. And so for me, my motivation a lot of days when I see him either go to work or come home from work is that I really want to get him retired and home with me and have that time freedom. There's financial freedom in this, but there's also a huge time freedom in this. And so it just needs, at the very top it says you need to share your oils, enroll customers and builders, and launch builders who do the same thing that you do. So we need to teach them how to do this. But you get to pick your pace, and that's what I wanted you guys to do right here. I wanted you to choose your pace, how much money you need to do. And I have a slide for that coming up. But kind of think about how much your home is making now, whether it's a combined income or just a sole income. Look at how much your household is bringing in right now, and be willing to put a number on how much you would like to make, and then subtract that difference, which we're going to do in just 1 second. But we need to, I just love this because it talks about how many investments we would need in order to get there. Well, doTERRA is investing in us, and we're investing in doTERRA, and that can be our retirement plan, and it can be awesome. I mean, I've watched Karina bring her husband Chris home from his job way earlier than my husband. About 20 years early is a guesstimate. Karina, maybe 25 years early, right? I mean, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so just know that doTERRA can be your vehicle, but you get to, for this challenge, I want you to pick the pace that you want to go at. If you're going to be building slowly because you have another job, if you're going to be building kind of at a mediocre pace because you are only working part-time, or if you want to, go full-time, go all in. And some of you might decide to do full-time work and full-time doTERRA, depending on how motivated you are and what your goals are. So think about that. How much time do I have to invest per week to supplement my income or replace my income? Okay, so on this left-hand page, this is page 6 of the Build Guide, you're going to set your goal. You get to choose which rank you're going to be at, which we'll come back to in just a minute, and then you're going to fill out your names list right here. Now, I would start with your VIPs at the top of your list. If you can try to think of who you would like to work with as your business partners, put those at the top of your list. And you know what? Maybe they're not names, maybe they're business names, which we're going to be spending a ton of time on talking about today. So start with your 100 names. I know that sounds like a lot. When I was asked to do this, I was like, I don't even know 100 people. Then as I started writing it down, you wouldn't believe, like, you'll start with family, you'll start with friends, and I have another slide that actually gives you some ideas. This is the back page of the Build Guide. So it's the 50 to 100 names. But this right here, this is also on the Share Success website. It says expand your contacts, Use the following exercises to increase your awareness about others you know whom you may want to share doTERRA with. Add these contacts to your contact tracker, which is the Build Guide. But let me go back. Gosh, I keep bumping this accidentally. It goes through and it says family members, and it says parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. Now, these are people that you would want to invite to doTERRA as a sharer, as a user at first, and then maybe eventually they'll become a sharer, right? We're hoping to convert some of those over to sharers and business builders with you. Who has interest or experience in fitness and health, natural, we have some natural wellness doctors here in our town, green and organic, family values, outdoors, entrepreneurial. So it just goes through, and has all these different types of professions that you could work with also. So I did put this on your challenge document. I think it's on the page 1. Let me look here. Maybe I didn't add it. I put it somewhere. Oh yeah, I did. It's at the bottom of this first page checklist. It says go to sharesuccess.com/expand your contacts. So there's the link there, and if you pull it up on your computer, you can just directly link right to it. So, it has examples of retired executive, which, I was so fortunate to get Chris. Chris retired early from her job, and she's now on my top line. So I'm very fortunate that way. Thank you, Chris. But you never know who you're going to be able to reach out to. It says pharmacy, pharmacists, spas, restaurants, resorts. We live in a very resort-oriented community here. We have, I think, 3 or 4 different resort spas that people travel to from all over the world. I want to say it's like it's in the top 5 spas of the world, actually. And it's here in St. George, Utah. So you never know. Go figure, right? So I have my work cut out for me. I need to go contact those spas. It says, once you complete the Build Guide, you will move forward to the Launch Guide. The Launch Guide is the next item of business on the sharesuccess.com website. So once you complete the build, because it's really simple, it's a lot of reading, not a lot of writing, but the Launch Guide will take you to the next level for those that want another challenge before this challenge ends. Okay, so we need to ask ourselves why. What is your why in your personal life, in your business life? Why do you get up in the morning, and what keeps you going? So there's a reason why we get up, right? Most likely it's because of our family, our immediate family that lives with us, right? They keep us going. But what keeps you fueled throughout the rest of the day, right? What keeps you going? So there's some personal and some business whys, but just be thinking about your own. And Karina shared a picture with me on my phone about 2 weeks ago, and I put it to different words, but it's basically the same message. It says prayer for healing, right? We all have prayers for healing, but let's never forget why we are all here together. So we're all here together on this group call, but once we leave this call, your circle of influence goes elsewhere. And don't forget why doTERRA brought you to some of your relationships that you have. doTERRA essential oils have changed our lives for the better. So in our physical, our emotional, our mental well-being, right? But we want to help others to change their lives, right? That's the reason why we're here, is we can't just stop because it's the best kept secret in the world, and we can't just stop or else the circle of influence stops. We want to help others physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and financially. A lot of times we don't think about that. So in this challenge, maybe I even mentioned this to my sister, if she doesn't mind that I share, because it's a great strategy. I don't think she would mind. But in her community, there's a real need for financial healing. There are not a lot of jobs. And I know that some of you have also expressed this to me, that people can't afford the oils where I live. And, they honestly can't afford not to have the oils. We have to change our mentality, because we're denying people this gift if our mindset is different than that. But, I shared with her, I said, maybe we need to take the approach of, yes, you don't only need these oils for your physical healing and for your emotional and mental healing, but you also need these for financial healing. And so one thing that I probably should add to this list is maybe you should have a meeting where it's like, would you like to change? If there's anything you could change in your life, what would it be? And most people will say, as Karina reminded me, it would be their health or their financial status, right? One of those two things. But we maybe place an ad in the newspaper that says, would you like to, if you could, would you change your financial situation? If you could, would you change your health situation? Well, what if you could change both at the same time? And then leave your name and number and contact information, and they can reach out to you, and you can touch one life at a time that needs that financial healing. So, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go along, but always talk about that financial. I was always so stressed and worried about talking about the financial blessing that doTERRA has brought to my life, but some people need that maybe even before the physical healing. So, okay, let's talk about the who. So we talked about our why. Who? Remember how it all started for you personally. Someone introduced you to essential oils. What if they had closed their mouths and didn't share with you? What would your life be like right now if the person that shared with you closed their mouth and they were too scared, too nervous, too worried? I mean, can you imagine where your life would be right now? I mean, even if your life has only changed minutely, instead of exponentially, even if that's happened, I mean, you're still changed because of it, right? There's still a small part of you that's changed. For me personally, my life's been changed exponentially. And so, and I know for some of you, you feel the same way. So I'll ask a question: who will you share with? Someone shared with you. Who will you personally share with? Okay, so who is your target market? Who is on your 100 names list? That's a great place to start, is just to make a list of individuals or businesses that you would like to share with. But who would you really like to work with? If you could choose your key people, and for those of you that are just starting out and you don't have anyone on your top line perhaps, this is a huge opportunity for you to really soul search and say, who do I want to work with? Who's going to help me reach my goals, and who can I help reach their goals at the same time? And, because you have to admit, there are some that you're going to have to drag kicking and screaming, and it's exhausting when you have to drag people. And I've done it, and I know some of you have too. It really is exhausting. So you want people with the same goals and the same ideas as you, and pick your very favorites to work with and put them at the top of your list, and let's start with them. Okay, are you ready for one or more new strategies? And I love this because it says business, marketing, growth, and development. We're going to be growing personally as we're growing in our business. It comes with the territory. You just get better, and that's what's so awesome about it. It just improves your life in so many ways, and that's what leadership does for you. Analysis, success, solutions, progress, planning. We all need that, right? We all need one or more of those, self-development, growth development. Okay, now I took this right from my challenge document. So it was on page, let's see, page 3. So I titled it New, Super Awesome, and Innovative Ways to Build Your Team. So strategies with working with individuals and groups of individuals on your team. Now, when I first started out, that's the only way I was taught to grow our business is through classes. Now, I love classes, don't get me wrong, but there are some disadvantages to classes. Let me tell them to you really fast. I wrote them down because I'm like, I have to share this. Advantages, the great thing about home classes is that you meet new friends. Your friends invite their friends, which creates a bigger circle of influence for you. Just a bigger circle of new friends. You can learn from one another at these classes, right? And you have an opportunity to enroll many people at one time. Okay, well, here's the disadvantages. And some of you will start out with classes. I'm not discounting classes. Classes are awesome for those that start out, but here are some disadvantages, so hear me out. It's a bit of work if you do it on your own, if you don't ask for help from anyone, but not so much if you divide and conquer. So you can share the responsibility. For example, one person makes the invitations, and prints them out for everyone. One person teaches the class, one brings refreshments, and I just put, again, divide and conquer. But sometimes your guests can't make it that night, and you've all had that, and we've all encountered that recently. In December, I encountered that at my Christmas make and take class. I had, I think, 4 or 5 people show up to it, and I planned for 20, 30, and it was a little bit disappointing, but then I did get that quality one-on-one with those people that did come, and which I was grateful for. That's what needed to happen, apparently, because that is what happened, but I was grateful. But keep inviting them. Maybe invite them to a one-on-one if they can't make it to your classes. But also be willing to have your classes at crazy times. Have it on a Saturday morning, a Saturday afternoon. Have it even on a Sunday for those that are open to Sundays. But maybe if they just can't come, then you definitely need to invite. Keep inviting them, because I think we said it takes like usually up to 10 touches, which that means invitations to doTERRA before people will sometimes come on board with us. So you can't give up on someone, and you just can't. You got to keep going. But try having classes at unconventional places. I had a class at Starbucks one time, and Kevin came. Kevin, you were there. Gretchen came. One-on-ones, lunch, coffee, dinner, it doesn't matter. Like, the time of day needs to change, the day of the week needs to change. But remember, you can do this inexpensively. We have a 2-for-1 card here in our town called the Dixie Direct card. There's coupons all the time that come in the newspaper. Use those to take your clients, your potential clients, out to lunch, but get to know them. You have to build that relationship first. You need to really build that relationship before you can, and that friendship before you can have that business relationship. So make sure you do that. You're there to get a new friend first, but then if they're interested in using the oils or sharing the oils, then that's an extra something for us, right? So I just want to tell you the advantages and the disadvantages, but it can be done, and some of you will decide that, okay, I want to teach classes. Maybe you'll want to teach them for businesses. You'll want to say, hey, can I come and teach a class at your business, which we're going to talk about on the next page, I think. Lunch and Learns. I think that's on the next page. Okay. Restaurants, libraries, be willing to have Facebook Live classes. Some of you are doing these awesome Facebook Live classes. We're doing a Zoom chat right now. Hold unconventional classes at unconventional places. You can also do wellness consultations. As part of this challenge, you can tell people, my upline leader wants me to do 10 wellness consultations for this challenge. And you're supposed to be writing the numbers on this, by the way, of how many you want to do this month. But I'm supposed to do 10 wellness consultations. Would you have 5 to 10 minutes of time that you could sit down with me and let me do a wellness consult and practice on you? And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she wants to practice on me. Of course I'll give you 5 minutes of my time. It'll probably turn into an hour. But just tell them 5 to 10 minutes, right? And it will turn into something, hopefully, maybe a little bit more than that, but greater. Try to keep it to 5 to 10, but you never know. And then also studies. This is a great way to do product studies, is what I should have titled it as. So you can take our Serenity line and make samples of it and take it to your neighbors and say, hey, I'm doing a sleep study. Would you be interested in trying just for 7 to 10 days our products and just giving me some feedback? That's all I need, is just feedback for if it worked for you or not. You could do a pain study. You could do a what else did I say? A digestive study where you're studying if our digestive line works, or just even peppermint beadlets works for kids. And that's how I got started, is those peppermint beadlets, not the beadlets, but the peppermint oil for my daughter's condition. Testimonials. You can ask people that have used essential oils, maybe not doTERRA essential oils, if they would give you a testimonial. You can also ask maybe some members that have cut back on ordering a little bit if they would give you a testimonial, and it might help to boost up your numbers of orders that you're getting per month. Social media and classes, education on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Farmers markets and craft fairs, you can have a booth. Sometimes they're as little as free, or they could be like $25 for 4 hours on a Saturday morning. Ours here, I want to say they're $15. So I'm going to start doing some some farmers markets in May is when ours start here. Community events and specialty show booths, like we have a What Women Want Expo, we have a Home and Garden Expo, we have a bridal expo, a baby expo here. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can get involved. Marathons, but check your community calendar for those. So this is these are basically all kind of classes and working with individuals is what this is. And then we have strategies for working with businesses on your team. So you can do diffuser loans, and I sent some sample scripts to you guys. It's on the last page of that document, and it tells you what you could say when you go to a business. So loan them a diffuser, a few little sample vials of essential oils, let them keep it for a week, and then go back and follow up with them. Most likely they'll want to buy that diffuser right then and there. You can get them signed up with the Home Essentials Kit, which comes with the pedal diffuser. Referrals, this is for people that maybe you don't know, or maybe that is a huge icon in the community, someone that you really look up to. You can say, hey, I'm building a doTERRA business, but I've used up my warm market. You don't want to say that, but you want to say, all my contacts, all my family members and friends, they're on my team already, and I'm looking for a business builder, and this is the type of person I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who's business-minded, who is on fire, just self-motivated, self-starter, excited about life, loves natural health and wellness. You can just give them the list of what you want. Everyone's going to have a different list. And say, would you know anyone that fits this criteria? And oftentimes they'll say, you know what? I think you just described me. Can I come and work with you? I mean, this is a person that's of high influence in the community, right? But if they don't want to join you themselves, they'll oftentimes give you one or more contacts that maybe would. So you just never know where those referrals could come from. I'm definitely going to use this one. I was just telling Nate, I don't know if Nate's on the call, but Nate from Minnesota, he used to work for doTERRA. He used to be in the compliance department there. And he said that he knows Marie Osmond's pilot. And I said, well, Marie Osmond lives on top of the hill right here next to me. I should just climb up the hill and knock on her door and ask her for a referral, right? Anyway, you just never know, right, where your circle of influence could start or stop. Lunch and learns at businesses. This is another one that I just barely learned of probably 2 or 3 months ago. I went to a health fair at a business. I was invited by my chiropractic friend that was going to have a booth at this health fair. And it's a pretty large company here. It's called Viracon. It's a glass company. But he was invited, and the lady told him, if you have any other friends that are in the health industry, invite them. So Bo's on my team. He invited me to come. And I went to this business, and at the end, the lady said, you know what, I really would love for you to come and do a make and take and a class for me at lunch for all of our employees. And so I need to get back on that and do that with her. I think the health fair was in December. So I need to follow up with that really soon. But she's the one that gave me the idea to come back, bring lunch. She didn't say bring lunch. She just said a class. But I was like, I'll bring lunch. That way people will come in from their lunch break, and they'll come and hang out with me, hear a short little class, maybe do a make and take, and maybe sign up while they're there, right? And then also another idea that I've had recently is working with established bloggers. I happened to hit a website one day. I was looking up for a recipe, and the recipe took me to someone's blog. It was probably on Pinterest, right? Took me to their blog, and I thought, you know what? I need to work with bloggers. And I know Karina's used this strategy a little bit, but I'm going to reach out to a ton of people that love nutrition and health and wellness as much as I do. Mostly I'll be working with dietitians and nutritionists but they had people from all over the world. Right there on that one website, it listed 1,000 some odd bloggers on one web page that you can just go to. And I sent a couple of emails already, but I need to do a couple of those per day. Okay, so what are we going to share? Of course, we know we're going to be sharing the oils, right? But there are 3 things that you will share with everyone. So first of all, we're going to share your doTERRA story or your product success story. Every one of you has one, every single one of you, but if you don't, keep using the products and you'll get one. But it's your testimonial, your first success in using essential oils. So everyone needs to start, whether it's a class or a one-on-one or whatever the case might be, you need to start with your doTERRA product story. And for women, it takes one positive experience to be hook, line, and sinker, want to join doTERRA. But for the men, it takes 10 or more positive experiences for them to get involved. Usually my husband being one of those. And if I can just add a quick little tip, for the men, you need to make sure that they get enough essential oil into their body at one time that they actually work for them, right? So my husband is double my size, double my body size and weight. He's not fat. He's just fluffy. He's very muscular. He's a big athletic coach guy. He's a sport guy, but he's double my body weight. And I was giving him what I would use and not giving him enough essential oil. So he's like, these things don't work. Well, okay, give the men twice as much as what you give to the average female. And then the second thing we want to share is the oils, right? In the middle of the class or the middle of whatever, we just need to break out our oils. And hopefully you have them in your purse at all times. Have samples ready to go with your name on them. We have those awesome little sample packs. I should have brought one. Actually, I have one. My purse is right here. I had one, but you know what I'm talking about, the little sample vials we can get from doTERRA that has the 3 single oils or the 3 essential oil blends. Use those and let them, just open them up and smell them, taste them, apply them, and then they can know for themselves that they work. But the essential oils speak for themselves. You don't have to sell anything. The oils sell themselves, and that was huge for me. Karina, after 4 years, told me that. I think it was 3 or 4 years. She said, Amy, you don't have to sell. Oils sell themselves. And the last thing is to share your business story. Don't be afraid to tell your why you were doing doTERRA and how it's changed your financial situation. For some of you, your financial situation hasn't changed. But once it does, you'll want to share that success story. And so I wanted to ask Karina today if she's our upline leader. She's a Blue Diamond with doTERRA, very successful. She is, I just look up to her so much, and we're great friends. And I just appreciate all of the education she's given me and the support. She's constantly checking on me, seeing how I'm doing. And she was so gracious to get on the call today. But I wanted her to share her business story because I think a lot of you will resonate with her story. Are you there still, Karina?
I'm here, so thank you. And first of all, I just want to say, wow, aren't you guys so lucky? Don't you just love Amy? I'm going to just sit and listen to you talk all day long. You're very lucky to be on
really fast.
You are very lucky to be with Amy and with her depth of knowledge. I mean, she understands everything. So anyway, you're lucky to be with Amy. We love Amy. And that's one of the blessings that do come with doTERRA is you get to work with people that you love. And you just, we have almost too much fun when we get together and meet. It's like a lot of fun and then a little bit of doTERRA and sneak it in when we can. And, but we do what we can. And our kids have actually gotten to the point, we've both got little ones that are about the same age, and they've caught on to that they think that's their perk too, because Kate's always asking me, when can we see Rip again? When can we see Rip? So it makes it anyway. So we do have perks, and there's a lot of fun things that way. But my story is kind of a different one. It's just one, and some of you may have already heard it, but it's the bottom line is don't try to guess who will like the oils, and don't give up. So most of you have heard about the Trumans, Boyd and Sandy Truman. Most people have heard Boyd's name, Boyd Truman, Boyd Truman, Boyd Truman. Boyd Truman wasn't the key to get me on. It was Sandy Truman. Sandy and I had been friends. Well, we've been friends with their family for years, since our little ones were, probably 10 years before doTERRA. So we've been friends for years, and a few years before we started with doTERRA, maybe even just a year before, a couple of us had gone to Sandy and we said, okay, what do you do? How do you keep your kids so healthy? And if you know Sandy, she's got this beautiful, they've got 8 kids now. They're all beautiful, but they were always healthy. Never the goopy noses. They were never missing school. They were never missing church activities. They were just there, And so we're like, what's your secret? And she'd been really hesitant, and she'd shared a few things with me before that, as close as we were, but never a lot. And she's like, okay, do you really want to know? And you promise not to think I'm totally crazy. So it's like we'd laugh and say, she finally came out of the closet and she told us about her oils that she thought we would think were so weird. And it was before she was with doTERRA, before doTERRA was a company. And anyhow, so it took me a while, and finally I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. I probably bought like a family physician kit's worth. And then she came to me, then, one day we were out walking and she says, okay, don't want you to hate me. I know you just invested a bunch and bought some oils, but we're changing companies. And I was like, oh, really? Why? And she's like, well, everybody that we trust has gone to doTERRA, and we just feel really strongly it'll be better quality, better what we want. And so, and that was like in the very beginning. I was like, Sandy, that's so neat, but I have oils. I don't need oils, right?
Mm-hmm.
And think of this family physician kit, whatever it was compared to back then, was going to last me forever. And I didn't like the smell of them, and we'd try to use them with my family, and they didn't love them, and they had weird names, and there's like, and I'm thinking that doTERRA is going to be the exact same thing. And I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. And anyway, through our friendship and just little things, and she would just plant little seeds in my head. But I did want to, and I did have an honest desire. I wanted to learn more about them. And Sandy started, if any of you that have been along for a long time, if you remember when we had the Dr. Mom kit, that was stemmed off of Sandy's classes that she started. She had what we called Dr. Mom classes. And she knew it. And I says, but keep inviting me. I want to learn how. I want to try and learn these solutions. I want to learn different things. Just keep inviting me. I want to learn more. And, she could have taken that as, okay, she is not interested. I'm not bringing doTERRA up again. Have any of you done that? Have you introduced it to a friend and they kind of shut you down? And you're like, I'm not going there again, but we'll talk about everything else under the stars, but we're not talking about that, right? So anyway, she didn't. She was really good about consistently inviting me to her classes. And she would go to the point, we were tiny. doTERRA was tiny. So it was like Dr. Hill had come to town, and they were doing everything they could to get somebody to come to Dr. Hill. Now it's like we have to filter who could even come see, and there wouldn't be room. There'd be standing room only. So she would invite me to things like that. And I always had something, right? When it's not a priority, you just have a hard time getting there. And I didn't understand why it should be a priority. And I wanted to, but there were other things. There were baseball games. There were homework. There were, whatever it was that you were doing with your family. I had 5 kids at the time. And so she was sweet as could be. She would just bring me, she'd type up the notes. She'd go home that night, type up the notes of what she'd learned. The next morning I'd get a knock on the door, and she'd just say, hey, I know you felt so bad you wanted to go, but at least I wanted to share with you what I learned. Nothing else. Nothing like, oh, wow, no guilt. No, I wish you would have come, and anything that way. Just, hey, here's the notes. Okay, great. I would read through those notes. I read through them all, and I would remember kind of thinking. So then it started me using my other oils. And one of the first things I remember is peppermint and lemon. If you use nothing else but peppermint and lemon, it'll change your life. Okay, well, I started doing my peppermint and lemon in my water. It got me using oils more. And I still was like, okay, we'll see. I wasn't getting complete results yet. But anyway, so it got me using. And I started trying to use what I did have so that I could do that. Anyway, I remember one day, and it had gone on for a while with her, just kept inviting me to her Dr. Mom classes. And I'm sorry, Sandy, I want to be there. And when we say having these classes, and are they successful, and don't make them be overwhelming, hers were so simple, okay? I laugh at the invitations because I'm one that I think, if I'm going to put it out there, it has to be so pretty. She simply typed on there, please come to a Dr. Mom class. This is where it's at. This is what time it is. That's it.
No frills.
Sometimes there were brownies with peppermint. Sometimes there were brownies with peppermint, but you didn't even always get that. There was always water that we could put the oils in. We always got that, right? That's what I had remembered from her saying them. But so she kept inviting me, and I just, excuse after excuse. Finally, she called me up one day, and she says, and at this point, I was believing everything she was telling me. I was thinking it was great. I'd even sent my mom I'm like, oh, well, my mom will come. She needs that, So I'd sent my mom, I put her in with it and got her going with it. So anyway, one day, finally, Sandy gives me a call and she says, you know what? I'm really trying to give this my best. And I know there's so many people that want to learn more. And so many of our friends that are so busy and like you, I'm thinking maybe, would you mind hosting a class for me? You know your schedule better and maybe find a time that works for you and a time that maybe we could get some of our other friends. Some of these other friends were like the Natalie Rigby, if any of you guys know any of the other doTERRAs with them. And if you, there was Natalie, there was, I think, Allison Brostrom, Shauna Durante. Anyway, all of our neighbors that had come, she's like, they just can't come. They don't ever do. And I'm like, okay, I would be happy to do that for you. Yeah, you tell me what I need to do. And well, just you pick a day. I'll do it. She did everything, right? And so from there, she did it all. She put out the invitations. We invited. I pushed it. I thought it was great. I am such a slow learner, guys. I was even at that class. I was like pulling out my own omegas saying, see, I have omegas. And she's like, yeah, but she was showing me kind of her stuff. And I was like, okay. And tell me the difference. Even when everybody left and she's like, oh, that was a great class. That was really good. You're going to have a few people sign up. I'm like, Sandy, I didn't do this for me. I did it for you. You just sign them up and put them where you need to put them. I mean, that's how slow I was. I didn't get it that I wanted to do the business. I didn't get it that I wanted to join. I didn't get it that any of that. And she slowly worked with me more and bless her heart, had a lot of patience. And there I am today. And there again, when I started, it's like, okay, I'm going to get the kit. And I had a few, I don't know how much you want to tell me. I know we've gone a long time, but I had a few oil experiences when I finally realized, okay, I can't keep my mouth quiet about this. And there was one where it was back to school time and my baby of 5 had a little cold going on. My husband was a Little League football coach. He was gone every night. It was back to school week, but back to school nights every single week. Well, remember my mom had listened and gone to these classes. So she had some of the new oils rather than the oils I was using. And finally, by the third night of back to school nights in a row, and I'd had my older kids tending for me while I was going to the others. And I called my mom and I says, I've got to go to one more back to school night. I don't know what to do. She's sick. She's clingy. I've left her with the others. Can you please just come over for an hour? I'll get in and out. Chris isn't able to help, but she can't be left home with just another sister again. And she's like, oh yeah, of course. So she came over. I remember coming home after that back to school night, and I kid you not, that you know how when a 2-year-old, they get the glossy eyes and they're just droopy and just want you to hold them. Mm-hmm. I came back. Her sparkle was in her eye. She was bouncing off the walls again. I'm like, wait a minute, what did you do? And she says, same thing you've done all week long, but I used my oils, not yours. That was my big aha. I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this. And so I slowly started kind of doing things. Then my other big aha was when my mom, again, she came home and she brought me the vitamins. And she came home from the very first convention. And I was in Provo when they had that first convention. And Sandy had me a seat. And I remember it was fall break. And I would not take time away from my kids to go. I'm like, I can't go do that. This is their fall break. I need to spend time with my kids. So my mom went. She'll let you know. She sat at the table with Dr. Hill. That's how small the first one was. And she told them that with the vitamins. And she said, you've got to try these. And I always worry about what my mom's spending and worry about her that way. I'm like, what? You spent money on me? You didn't need to do that. And so then I felt bad. And I'm like, okay, fine. I will take them just to say I tried them. Mm-hmm. And I tried them, and I'm kind of that stubborn one. Again, I mean, I was this slow learner. Tell me you wouldn't have given up with me by then, right? She started in April. This is in the fall. But anyway, my mom brought the vitamins probably by the third week, because I'm like, you know what? I have more energy. I wake up and I feel vibrant. I feel ready for the day. I lay down and I actually go to sleep instead of sitting there, my mill spinning. And I was just realizing I was feeling so much better. And we would do some little neighborhood boutique things where, like, one of my friends did the vinyl lettering, one was a decorator, I did the big t-shirts, that was the thing. And so we would just have fun doing our little boutiques once in a while. That was kind of our girls out. And so we were doing a boutique right after that. And I remember at the end of the night just saying, I sold more Sandy's vitamins than I did any of my stuff, because I can't stop telling everybody how great they made me feel. And that's when everybody kind of laughed. They're like, well, if we understand it right, if you're taking the vitamins, then you can kind of still sell it for you, not just for her. Anyway, there's just a few examples of what a slow learner it was. It took me clear until she finally got to me to a meeting in the end of December. that was up to corporate when I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a try and I'll start trying to do business a little bit. And I was that slow of a learner, and I just dove in and I haven't looked back. And there's been times I felt overwhelmed, but with Amy, I feel that, what does doTERRA mean? It's the gift of the earth. Our Heavenly Father has blessed us with these, He wants us to share them. And every time I get to His rut, and when I get to I don't know if I can do this, I realize I'm trying to take the load and I'm trying to do too much. But if we can do it and if we can do it together, and I remember who's my captain and go to Him for help and guidance, the peace comes, things happen, and you can do that. And I just think you do it in moderation. And the biggest thing is you pick, Amy was going through, you pick what level of commitment you're at, stay consistent with that, and just keep following up, and don't forget about your people. But Sandy's a perfect example of you follow up. Mm-hmm. That means maybe not now, but later, right? So and I kind of had to do that same thing with Amy. When there's somebody that'll love it, I knew Amy would love doTERRA if she would give it a try, but I used to push it, and hopefully she never felt like I was pushy, but she'd come to the door and come get a few things and like, here, try this, and just try to keep putting the hints. And I think afterwards, her and I's biggest regret is that I was not more bold with her in the beginning and sat her down and said, Amy, these are the numbers. Do you understand what you can do? Right? Amy, is that more than anything I regret, is that I didn't be more attractive?
Well, just one day you finally said, you don't have to sell them. They sell themselves. And I was like, where was this conversation 4 years ago? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. It's because I was tiptoeing and worrying about, well, she's not interested, and I should have taken more of that approach in the beginning. We share what we love, and I truly believe it. I believe there are people on their knees praying daily for nutrition. They're help. They're praying for, financial help somewhere. They want that. They want the community. There's so much. I think my favorite thing with doing doTERRA and with the years I've done it is watching the personal development, watching the confidence that it gives people, watching as they learn and watching as they grow. And you have something, and doTERRA is that. And when she talked about our other missions, well, I've always wanted to serve and help people, so this is a tool that doing what I do. In fact, I felt guilty in the beginning. I said, this isn't right. I'm getting paid for doing compassionate service. I don't know if I feel good about this, because you're helping people. And it grows, and just be excited about it. Let them feel how excited and how much you love it. And it's contagious. That was the thing with Sandy. She was contagious. I knew I wanted to know about it, but it took me a long time. So don't give up.
Absolutely. Well, I'll just say, I'll pipe in right there that I was going to Karina's house, or she'd have to drop the oils off to me. And I was asking 1,000 questions by text. So finally she brought me a book, and she's like, here you go. Stop texting me. No,
I did not.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. But that's how it was. It was like I had so many questions on, what do you do for this condition? What do you do for that? What do you do for this? So she finally empowered me by bringing me a book. That's what I was trying to say, is you finally empowered me, and you're like, okay, I can tell you what the book says, or I can just give you one, and you can empower yourself a much faster rate and empower others at a much faster rate. But I was driving to her house to get a breathe, one product at a time, or having her bring me an On Guard on our way to preschool to drop off and things. And so finally one day she just had the conversation with me, and she's like, you're buying stuff from me, and you're giving me all of your points and all of your benefits, and you can have your own, account, and they would deliver it to your house, and you'll get free products and education and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, sign me up. So then I signed up, and then my sister and I shared an account for a while, and pretty soon Nat and I were like, okay, whose points are whose? And I'd have to have them shipped to me, and then I'd ship them to Nat, and it was just so I found that my first enrollment was my sister Natalie, and she's been there with me the whole time. Thanks, Nat. But she, we shared that account forever. We shared our points. We put things on Facebook. Hey, I'm placing an order. We do anything just to help get our oils paid for in the beginning. But I didn't think on a large scale back then. That's why I was trying to help you guys think that, okay, this is much bigger if you allow it to be. You can have, like these little small moments, and you can have these small paychecks and just get by. But with me, it's like, I want to leave a carbon footprint when I leave. I don't want to just leave, a few people that I told about essential oils. I want to share on a much bigger scale, much bigger level. So that's for me. That's what keeps me motivated and keeps me going. I'm so glad that you didn't give up on me in those 4 years that I was just using and getting my feet wet. But I did have a baby too. Like she said, we had babies kind of.
And timing's everything. There's a time and place for everything. And I think you did. When the time was right, it was right. And there was no stopping Amy, right? Everybody knows Amy. This is what I'm doing. Then you look at the amazing leader that you are. And I felt like that with me is I had to have a few of those things happen. Even if I'd have joined when Sandy first told me, I wasn't ready to share or tell anybody or do anything. And so it's all, there's timing, everything. You just got to have faith in that. And
yep. Everyone has their own reason and their own season, right, for doing what they do. And you each have your own passions, and hopefully it's in health and wellness. But if it's not, doTERRA can still be an avenue for you to reach your higher goals. And they're just their compensation plan. We've went to leadership trainings, right, Karina, where they've showed us on the screen, they've shown us that this is what this company pays if you do this amount of work. And this is what doTERRA pays. And it's like 3 to 10 times more in every single category. Just doTERRA is very generous. But the thing I love about doTERRA the most, and I will say this, is that they are service oriented and they do serve the world and they share, and they are healing communities where we're getting our oils from. They're healing these communities. They're building schools and what am I trying to say, healthcare facilities for their people that are working for them. And they're giving microloans to businesses where these communities are so that they can build their own businesses. doTERRA is doing so much good at giving back. And it's not just about, a small scale. They want to touch the whole world. And that's where we come in too. We need to do our part to help share these oils throughout the world. So thank you, Karina, for sharing. And I was going to ask Chris, if she's still on the line, if you want to share your business story with us.
Okay, I'll be quick. I didn't join doTERRA to do a business, just like a lot of other people. But I met Amy because I bought some oils from her through the internet, and when I got them, I used them, and she sent this beautiful letter with the box. and it said, if you ever want to know more, and you want to do it, make some money. It was just a wonderful letter. And I held on to that letter for probably 4 months. And I looked at that letter, and I read it many times. And one day I thought, I'm going to call her. So I called her, and I told her that I wanted to know more about the oils, and that I thought that I wanted to sign up because I wanted to save more money. And Amy said, well, okay, you think about, what you want to order and let me know. And so I said, well, I know what I want to order. I want to order the Every Oil kit.
My eyes were bugging through my head. I've never sold an Every Oil kit.
And Amy, she put on a good act because I didn't hear her jaw hitting the floor or anything, So that's what I did, because I had done a lot of research about wellness and about how to use natural essential oils, natural remedies, just for common problems. And I was just convinced that essential oils were going to do that. And so I bought the Every Oil kit, and I got it home, and I started using it. And I gave my mom the deep blue that was in there because she had bad knees, and she rolled up her pant leg at church, and she put the big deep blue on her knee. And she said, and after church, she said, Chris, she said, this stuff really works. And I said, well, why do you think I gave it to you? And then all the old ladies at church wanted deep blue. Okay.
I love
And
it.
so Amy said to me one day, she said, Chris, maybe you should have your mom sign up. And, what about your sister? Because I had told my sister about it. I told one of my best friends at church about it. you know. And I said, well, okay, I'll ask them. So they signed up. and then I thought, well, I guess I should, you know, and then they wanted to know more. So I did start having classes, and I would have classes for whoever wanted me to have a class. And so I did that for a while. And then those people would start getting people to sign up under them. I mean, my team was growing, and I didn't really want a team. You know what I'm saying? and then I started getting commission checks. And so it just kind of did itself. But all you have to do, like Karina said, is plant the seed.
Mm-hmm.
That was the key for me, because every time I go somewhere, and I did in the last 2 years decide to get an aromatherapy certificate, because I really, really, really wanted to know a lot more about the essential oils. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And with that, and you know, and I just give a sample, or I just tell somebody, you know, in a week or a month or the second or the third time that I talk to them, they say, I think I'll try that. Yeah. So it's not hard to do, you know, but you just have to, you just have to tell people, you just have to share. And that's my story. And my personal use turned into a business.
Right.
And so now I just love to tell people. I just love to talk about them, and you know, and so some discipline now, you know, is required, because
you never see that team anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
because I have a team, and a lot of people on the team want to learn, and so that's what I'm trying to do now. But it's really not that hard. I mean, it's something that I never would have thought that I would have done, because I'm retired and I get a retirement check every month, and I don't have to do anything for my money anymore. You know? But now my commissions check pays for my oils, mm-hmm. and it pays for me to give things away. Yep. And so I can give out samples that I really didn't have to pay for. Right. You know, that's so. True. You know, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and you know,
love it. Well,
yeah,
thank you.
I love it. I love the doTERRA. I love Amy. I love you, Karina. You guys are wonderful. You're wonderful leaders.
Oh, thank you. Keep going. Just kidding.
No, I'm done.
I'm kidding about the gushing about us. I'm just kidding. But what I wanted to say, though, is Chris did take 2 years. I mean, she's retired. She took 2 years out of her life to go get an aromatherapy license and certificate. And that was huge. That was huge, because now she's the expert in her state. You know, I mean, honestly, she is the expert. And she has a lot of business background. She knows how to talk to people, and she knows what they want, what they need, and how they need it. And she's really good at what she does, and I appreciate her very, very much. Thank you, Chris. I was just out there.
Quick thing on that real quick.
Yeah.
What I love is, and listening to Chris's story, is I think that this could be fun. We could have spent a whole hour listening to everybody's story with it, is that's what's contagious. And I love it that she's got aromatherapy, but she didn't have to be the expert for people to want to join her. They just wanted a part of that, of what she had. And just by her opening her mouth and sharing, she was blessing them and helping them find relief. And I think that's why we love what we do. And that's where we say we don't have to share or sell. We just have to share. Just tell people, and it happens that way. I love that. That's just a natural cycle there. So we love you, Chris.
I was just thinking that Karina and I were just out there a year ago to Iowa. We stayed at the Strawberry Inn. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. But yeah, so see, if I wouldn't have met Chris, I wouldn't have been able to meet her entire team, her entire family. And she has such a huge circle of influence, because she does, she's on the worship team there. She is so multi-talented when it comes to music. And so she's not only sharing God and his love and his message, his word through music, but she also is, you know, sharing the love of his gifts with his people. And so she's sharing both. And that's kind of my mission too in this business, is to teach people about God and his gifts, because that's the whole reason why we're here. That's my opinion. And so But thank you, Chris, for taking the oils to your friends and family and expanding your circle, because you didn't have to. You were retired. Scott's retired. You guys have, you're set up. Their house is paid for. They've got all of these things paid for, and they've done it right. They've done it the right way, but she still wants to share, and she still wants to give, and she has an awesome big heart. So thank you. Let's see, let me hurry and just really quick finish this. I have just a couple more slides and then we'll conclude. Share my desktop, come on. Oh, there you go. All right, so we talked about who your target market might possibly be. We talked about who you're going to share your product story, you're going to share the oils in the middle, and you're going to tell them your business story at the end. And then these are just a couple of reminders. This is from the sharesuccess.com website. It's called PIPES. It's an acronym, and it stands for, I should erase that. Sorry, I just put PIPES. I should have put a little colon there. But prepare, invite, present, enroll, and support. That's kind of the flow that we go through in doTERRA. We prepare ourselves, and we prepare ourselves to host an event or a booth or whatever the case might be. We invite people to that event. We present them with the opportunity of using the oils, but also sharing the oils. We enroll them, and then we support them throughout their days in doTERRA. And then also this comes from the EDGE Success System. It's called the 3 doors of openness. First of all, you're going to ask questions and collect data, right? Because we don't know what their need is. So just listen. If you'll just listen to what people say, they'll tell you what they need, right? You're not a problem solver. Just remember that. You just ask questions and let them solve their own problems. That's key in this, is ask questions, let them help come up with their own solutions. We're not here to solve everyone's problems, right? But door number 1, we ask them, we invite them, would you like to learn about essential oils and natural health care? That's the first thing you ask them. And if they are, we're going to invite them to a class. After the class, we're going to ask them, would you like to try using essential oils? We're inviting them. All the time we're inviting them, right? Because that's the best way to get people on your team, is to invite. And the third door, invite them to sharing essential oils with others. So it's learning is the first one, using the oils, and then sharing. Those are the 3 words you need to learn. Remember, learn, use, and then share. Sorry, I can't even talk. But quick question, what are you building? An opportunity to serve others. That's the main reason why I'm here, is to serve other people and meet new friends, honestly. You can never have too many friends, my opinion. But another thing that I've been able to do is travel and see new places that I never would have been able to on a teacher salary, right? 2 teacher salaries. And then we went from 2 teachers' salaries down to 1 because I stayed at home with our last child. So yeah, try that one on. Going from 2 full-time incomes to 1. That was tough. And I never thought that I would be able to have these opportunities that I have. I've been to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic and Mexico and Iowa and California, all these different places that I never would have had a chance to have been, or to meet amazing people. An opportunity to build a residual income. That's the great thing, is if you decide you don't want to work in 5 years or 10 years from now, and you want to be retired at an early age and pursue some of your other dreams, well, doTERRA can be that avenue for you. And an opportunity to build, do you want an opportunity to not build someone else's dream? A lot of us work for other people in our jobs, and they benefit from our hard work. We really don't. I mean, we get, some natural satisfaction and some, joy out of accomplishing our goals within that job, but we're actually building someone else's dream. So this gives us an opportunity to fulfill your own dreams instead of someone else's. How do we build our business? If you want to build your business faster and better, work with businesses. We already covered some of those strategies, but businesses need more oils, and they have more clients and customer base for us to reach out to. It's just a more natural flow. So working with businesses really is the best way to build your business. And just there's a picture of some networking that's happening, right? And they're going to share some of their marketing and some of their strategies. I've really enjoyed Kevin. Kevin's on the call today. He is Mr. Marketing. I love hearing his strategies, and he tells me some things, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. So even just networking with Kevin, who's on my top line, you know, he's a networker, and he knows how to market to people, and I've really enjoyed that. So when is a good time to build your business? And I put now on here. There's no time like the present. It's a new year. We get a fresh start. So fresh start's next exit. What are your goals? On the goal sheet that I sent, that 6-page document, it has you set a 30-day goal. That's what we're working on right now. So look at your overall goal for the long term and then break that down into some short-term goals. We're going to be working on more of a short-term goal. What I'm thinking is maybe you're going to want to be a manager, a director, an executive, or an elite. And I didn't put those on there, but that is basically between 500 overall team volume, between that and 3,000 overall volume. So here's the little worksheet I told you about earlier. What's your current monthly income? What is your desired monthly income? Subtract the greatest one from the least, and what is the difference, right? So what is the difference that doTERRA needs to be in your life for you to have a supplemented income or a replaced income? Then I ask you to set a monthly goal, which you'll put your rank right here where you currently are and where your end goal is for the next 30 days. You'll tell me what your current power of 3 is and what your end power of 3 goal is, your number of enrollments you want to enroll this month, and again, that ties into the rank. So if you want to be an elite and you're just starting out, that's 3,000 volume, you're going to want to get at least 30 new enrollments, at least. And we have some awesome promotions going on right now with this New Year, New You, where if they spend $100 for two months in a row, they get an extra $100 from doTERRA. So they spend 2, they get 100 and free. It's an awesome time to start enrolling them. Also, we have the promotion right now for us for enrolling new people. Not only are you getting commissions from doTERRA and commissions from myself, but you have a chance to earn all of those free oils like the jasmine and the rose, and then there's a couple other roller bottles you can get too. So, and then starting in March, just so you guys are aware, that's when they usually start. I'm crossing my fingers. That's when they usually start the promoting the annual trip that you can try to earn with doTERRA, and I think it's going to be in Cancun again. Rumor has it. I won't say where I got my information from, but that's kind of what they're thinking is down in Mexico again. We'll know that in the next month after leadership. So then it just goes through and it tells you the average that an executive earns. An executive has 2,000 volume. They earn about $200 per month, and it takes about 3 months to become an executive. Some of you you're already a manager or director, so it wouldn't take you 3 months. It might take you that 30 days to get to the next level. Elite, you're going to make between 300 and 800 per month, and it takes about 6 months. It just goes through it, and this is average, but we can defy the averages, right? I mean, it says right here, it takes 24 months to become diamond, right? That's 2 years. Are you willing to invest 2 years? Because if you become diamond, I promise you, you're financially set forever. So just know that, like, you could stop at platinum probably because you're making around 6,000 per month, but it just tells you about how long it takes to get there. And then these are some little stepping stones that they're ranks that go clear up to presidential diamond, but it starts right here with being just a wellness advocate, and that's where some of you might be. And then it goes to the manager, to the director, to the executive, elite, premier, and then it goes to up and up. Okay, so then it goes gold, silver, gold, yeah, platinum, diamond. So those are just the ranks, and they're stepping stones. So just look at it as that it's a stepping stone to get from one place to the other. In order to qualify for commissions, you must have 100 PV in your cart at all times. So even though you haven't processed your order yet, let's say for this month, I need you guys to all go in and put 100 PV in your cart, because as you're signing people up, if you don't have 100 PV in your cart and doTERRA goes to send you a commission check, it passes you by. So you don't have to process that 100 PV until the end of the month, but you will need to have a 100 PV order processed sometime during February to be eligible for commissions. But go ahead, and I need you to do that. Put 100 PV in your cart right now. Save it. Don't process it. Just put it in your cart. Have it there so when you start signing people up, you're eligible for commissions. And then we're going to do some weekly goals. So you're going to set for each of those 4 weeks, you'll have a different weekly goal for those. You're going to tell me how many enrollments you're going to get this week, and you're going to attend our weekly group mentoring call, which is what we're on right now. And then also we will be doing one personal weekly individual mentoring call with you. So again, my number is 435-862-2768. If you guys could text me and let me know when a good time is for you to have that mentoring call, we'll start lining those up. But this is your daily goal. If you're part-time, you're going to give a sample to one person, and you're going to follow up with one person that's either on your team already or someone that you spoke with at the grocery store. You've already sampled as most likely the person that you're going to be talking to. So you're going to give a sample to someone and follow up with one person that you've already shared with. If you're full-time, you're doing 2 people, giving 2 people samples and following up with 2 people. And then this is what I'm going to have you guys do. It's called 10 to 10 texting. I spelled it out in the challenge document, but you're going to text me before 10 a.m. my time, because I really don't want phone calls at 6 a.m. But because I'm not quite awake there yet. But we'll figure out the time zones. But 10 a.m. I want you guys to text me who you're going to be talking to that day. And then you also text me before 10 p.m. Your time. So we'll do my time, your time. How's that? But text me and let me know who you talk to that day. So there is some accountability that goes with this. Every single day for 20 days, you're going to be texting me morning and night to let us know, me and your other mentor, myself and your other mentor, what you're doing for that particular day. Okay, this is the last slide. And it says, and so the adventure begins. So are we ready to start? Are we ready for some new adventure and some new challenges in our lives? I'm ready. I'm super excited about this. These new strategies that we've learned and that we're implementing are huge. They're monumental with working with businesses, and they don't take a lot of time. So if you're working full time, you could drop off a diffuser in the morning on your way to work and pick it up a week later and follow up. Honestly, it's really that simple. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes dropping off, maybe 10 to 15 minutes picking up, and you might have a new client within less than a half an hour of your time. So it's huge. It's really huge. Hopefully the strategies do help you. Call or text me with any questions that you might have. And again, thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and close out the call, just stop the recording. But if you guys want to stay on, you can ask some additional questions that you wrote down during our presentation. But let's go. Ready, set, go.